morning, everyone. How are we? Congratulations on getting through the first week. The DBs were incredibly busy. I think we've had on both DBs in the introductions over 100 posts, and in the other threads as well, people have been getting right through, which I noticed some people were already up to the third week, which is fantastic. So I've been trying to keep a little eye on everything of what's going on, and answering as many as I can each day. I am still catching up, because you're also enthusiastic, which is fantastic. And yeah, but I will catch up with everybody as I go through them all. I know it will gradually calm down a little. I also know some people are starting their placement fairly soon, and so their idea, I can see, is trying to get through as much of the unit as possible before the placement, which is fantastic because you really need to. But I'll just focus on a few things for this week. It has been lovely to meet you all. There are a lot of familiar names, as I'm sure you've all seen up there, which is great. It's really good to see people that I know have done their last placement and be able to follow up and see where they're going with their next one, which is always really, really interesting for me. And also, there are a lot of new people, and some people who've just finished their first placement come straight into their second placement. You are very brave and must have fabulous stamina. So, well done, keep going. And we'll get on to all the introductions. Don't feel like I am neglecting you. I will get to you as soon as I can. I've also had a lot of emails from people who are still trying to find placements, people who want to enroll in the unit but they haven't quite got their school secured, which is very hard because we've had school holidays. Which brings me to the next part. If you haven't managed to get in and meet your mentor teacher yet, I know some people in the board were saying they hadn't had a chance, largely because they have had school holidays and therefore haven't been able to get in and meet their teacher. And some people have had real problems with this because also their teachers have decided to go on long service leave, and which means they don't even know what class they're in, which makes it really, really hard to prepare. What I would suggest is, if you can, do a search on the school website, get to know their policies, get to know what their learning philosophy is, how they believe children should be learning, what clientele they have, where the children are coming from, the families, the background. Do your research. So if you have no idea what year level you're in, at least you do know what school you're at. And it's always good. One, because when you go in there and you talk to the teacher and the principal, if you already know a lot about the school, they're going to think that you're actually really interested in them and how they're teaching and teaching in general. So it's really good to go in that. Also, it gets you prepared, because if you know what curriculum they're working on, and they usually have that on the school website, you know a little bit about their staff policies, so what expectations they have of staff with duty, with professional development, with after school hours, clubs, anything else they might have going. Dress, you'll be able to see by the pictures on the website. What sort of programs they have running. So you might find that they have some programs that match into other units that you're doing, which would be fantastic. It's a really good idea to get in there and have a look at those sort of things. Even if you do not know yet what year level you're in, you can always at least get onto that, because that will help you so much. Now, I've had of emails about that. Oh, with your meetings with your mentor teachers, hand up. Well, it's just you in the room, obviously. If you have already met your mentor teacher, that is fantastic. I'm going to put a thread up where we can discuss our meetings with our mentor teachers, because it's always really interesting to get the perceptions when you first go into the classroom and how you think you're going to get on, what sort of behaviour management strategies you noticed when you walked into the classroom. Did they have charts with stars or stickers or something going on? Did you notice the learning technologies that were going on in the classroom? Did they have one-to-one iPads? Did they have laptops? Did they have nothing? What sort of, how was the room set up? Did you notice that maybe they were very play-based if you're in early childhood? Or were they able to move around the room a lot? Or were they in nice, neat lines? Those sort of things give you a lot of clues on how you're going to be working in the classroom and what sort of classroom it is. So it's really interesting when you've done your mentor-teacher meeting, get into that thread and just write down any bits and pieces that you might have noticed. I think that's a really interesting thing to go in and have a look at. So I would love to read some of your stories. Also, if you go in there and straight away you think, oh my gosh, I'm just not going to fit into this classroom, I would love to hear about that as well, because often those sort of indicators, if we can get onto them early and work out why you're feeling like that, then we can make sure that it's not going to affect how you go on your placement. We want to get onto things really early. So as soon as you notice if there's something wrong or something you just don't feel quite right about, let me know, because then I can start working with you, working with the mentor teacher and helping you get through it, because we do want everyone to pass. We had a really good rate of passes last semester, and I think it was largely to do with everybody being on the ball and noticing anything that was vaguely wrong straight away, not thinking, oh, it's just me, I'm just leave it, because it's only 4 weeks. So if you feel that something's not quite right, you need to let me know as soon as you can so that I can help you and we can all support you. Amanda is fantastic at organising programs for getting you up there with your mentor teacher. She's really good at communicating with mentor teachers. And we'll make sure we can get you through as best we possibly can, as long as you let us know as soon as you feel like something's wrong, because then we can help you. It's really important you do that. All right, I'm just having a look now at the goal setting discussions we've had here. Goal setting is really tricky. I know in your introduction, a lot of people were saying what they really want to work on, and then they read all the stuff in the goal setting and they thought, oh my gosh, now I've got to really come in. You'll notice at the top of the goal setting thread, I have now put the goal setting Padlet. You can actually add to that Padlet. So if you find some really good goal setting resources, if you click on the little plus sign at the bottom right hand sorry, I don't know left and right very well, right hand side of the Padlet, you can add your own thing. I've opened all these Padlets up so that they can work as a collaborative place for storing all our resources, which makes it fantastic because they're able to be accessed on the internet. So if you're in a classroom and you need something like this, you can go to any of these Padlets and go, that's what I want, click on it, and you've got the links straight away. They're very easy to find if we organise them this way, because I found in the past when we try to put them on threads, they scroll down, and you can never find anything. So if they're in one Padlet in one place and I've got them all categorised, then it makes it a lot easier for us to all go in and use them. And also it means even after this unit, you've still got access to them, which is very, very useful. Now, I'm just going through. Christy got onto this first. She's fantastic, Christy. Well done. And she wrote some really nice, clear goals. When you're writing your goals, what we want to see is that you write your goals in a very specific term so you can actually achieve that goal. Saying, I want to improve behaviour management in my classroom is not going to help anybody very much because it's very wide and general. You need to bring it back. So I am going to apply the mentor teacher's behaviour management techniques. I learned on my last prac that this didn't work, blah, 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 because of blah, 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 blah. My mentor teacher says this behaviour management she's using in the classroom because of blah, blah. I am going to try to implement it successfully. My goal is to implement it, no try, because that's very vague and very, very. My goal is to implement this goal, this behaviour management strategy effectively. And if you word it like that, then you know what you're doing. Then write down the things that you think are going to stop you, things that could be problems to you achieving this goal. What are the things that are going to be really, that you're going to have to hurdle? Is it your kind and friendly personality who always gives kids the benefit of a doubt? Is it, I don't know, maybe the philosophy that you have doesn't match this behavior management strategy? Because sometimes you've got to fit your philosophy into the classroom philosophy, especially when you're on placement and you're being marked by another teacher. So those sort of things you need to put there. And then you're going to have to write how you are going to overcome these problems. Because if you haven't got a strategy for overcoming the problems, it makes it really hard to actually achieve it, if that makes sense. Just having a look. Most things, there's a lot of behavior management, people with behavior management, I notice. And as I said to Rebecca, it's really important to communicate these goals with your mentor teacher. So once you've worked out your goals, when you go to your mentor teacher meeting, make sure you're discussing these goals with your mentor teacher, because your mentor teacher is there to help you. And they all want to know these goals so that they can help you work on them. They've probably got heaps of resources. Normal teachers have like rooms, resource rooms. They don't have resource files. So I know, I've got them. So what you need to do is tell your mentor teacher your goals, and I am sure they will pull out a ton of stuff that will help you achieve these goals. And they'll then be focusing on, when they're giving you feedback, giving it towards these goals. So make sure that you've discussed it and you've discussed what those teachers are doing in the classroom. Right, Liz mentions differentiation, which in a classroom, which this semester is actually very, very huge, because in your second placement, one of the things we're focusing on is diversity and how you're addressing it within the classroom. And differentiation is actually how you're addressing it. So I don't know if you've read Task 2 yet, but in Task 2 we talk a lot about diversity and differentiation. So if that's one of your goals, you're going to be achieving that slightly, or programming for it in the Task 2 as well, which is fantastic, because I think it matches a lot of people have that as a goal. We had reporting and feedback as a lot of the tasks that people were interested in. I think feedback is very important. There's a lot of research on feedback and the use of feedback, as I think Liz mentioned. And I think when you're looking at your feedback, it is always very important to keep it positive. I like the sandwich technique, where you say something positive, then you give constructive feedback in the middle, and then you say something positive at the end to end on a good note. You'll probably notice that when you're reading your assignment results. I think that works well, because you want people to feel like they are achieving something, and everybody is achieving something. If you've put the effort into doing something, that's an achievement in itself. And nobody wants to feel like they're failing. And when you make people feel like they're failing, then they don't want to do it anymore. So it's important that there are the positives that you've highlighted. It's like 2 stars and a wish. And then you've given them something to work on, especially the students that are high achieving. They always need something to work on, because they often just hear, oh, that's awesome, that's wonderful. The high achievers are the ones that really want to step it up. So if you can find something that they can work on, that's always great. Ian mentions ICT, which is great. And this is really going to depend on your placement. He mentions the Montessori teacher, and I don't know how the ICT was in the they had minimal. In a Montessori school, they're generally fairly minimal with it. Steiner schools are another one where you're probably going to have problems implementing ICT, which you need to be able to, because you've got to say how you're going to do it in this unit. So it's good when you go in, as I said, meet your mentor teacher, have a look, scope out the ICT. What have they got? What can you use? If you can see there's going to be a problem, let me know. And we can work on that. There's always some sort of ICT you can use. I mean, it comes down to cameras, if that's digital editing of the videos and things that kids make. You can do little stop motion things, even if it comes with flip books. You can create those if there's nothing. So there's always something we can do. So just let me know. and we can work on that one. I won't go into too many more because, as I said, the discussion board was crazy last week for the first week, and I was starting to get a little confused. So, yeah, I'll keep working on that, but hopefully that's given you some ideas on how to work with goals and how to use that goal setting Padlet. Have a look at all the resources that are there. You might be able to add more. That would be fantastic if you can. And I'm going to have a whole section with Padlet, so I'll be putting up a thread with some of the Padlets in it this week, so that you can start looking at resources you can use and pulling what fits into your situation. Okay, we've got the assignment 1 collaborate this Thursday. I am looking forward to seeing you all there. Yay! With all your questions for task 1 and for pracs and things. It will be great to meet you all, so I'm looking forward to that. If you have other units that I know I've had quite a few people, lots of people, email me about that they've enrolled themselves in many units and they're a bit worried about the organisation. Make sure you let the ELAs know. It's really important to let the other ELAs know. They know the placements are a crazy time. So try to, if you can, get extensions on your assignments so that you can make sure that they're not falling during your placement time. Because the last thing you want to be doing, especially the last 2 weeks of your placement, is panicking about getting other assessments in. So get yourself organised now. Contact those ELAs, let them know. If you need to put extension forms in, get them in nice and early so you've got dates and you've got it all organised. That's the best way you're going to get through this unit and your placement without getting yourself totally stressed out. It is a lot of work. So you would have found that the first placement was a lot of work. Nothing compared to this placement. Sorry to say that. But you've got a lot of lessons you're going to have to be planning, and you know how long it takes you to plan lessons at this level. When you get to your final placement, it's way busier. But hopefully by then, after these 2 placements, you'll be so good at lesson planning that the lesson plans will take a lot less time. But in this placement, they generally still take a lot of time, and you've got more of them than the first placement. So you really need to make sure that, particularly in the last 2 weeks, don't have other assignments that you're going to be trying to write as well. It's just too hard. And you won't have slept, and then you'll walk into a classroom like a zombie. The children will take advantage of that situation, and your mentor teacher will be all upset at you and possibly contacting me. So please don't let yourself get into that situation. It is really important that you understand that your brain has limitations, that sleep is essential to your cognitive functioning, and you don't overdo yourself too much. Okay. I also had some questions about organising evidence. I had quite a few different people discussing how they were going to organise their evidence. I know in the first placement we went through all the different FAs you're going through, the focus areas you're going through, and we discussed how we'd collect the evidence. Now, we don't do that so much in this unit because you've already done it in a past unit. We do it a little bit, but nothing like what it was in the first unit. So it is really important that you start working out, look at the FAs, work out what you're going to collect for each FA. What would be great evidence for those different focus areas? So what would be good evidence for showing diversity in the classroom? Okay, if you've differentiated a program, that would be fantastic. If you have got different stations, maybe you're in early childhood, you've got different stations for different things that you're trying to focus on within one area for different children, that would be fantastic. Could take photos of those and put them into a nice little collage. That would be awesome. So write up those things so that you know what evidence you are looking for. So I don't just because one of the big things with these portfolios is that you can't just have one type of evidence. I don't just want your mentor teacher's comment from your report for every piece of evidence. That's not going to get you past. What you want is a variety of different types of evidence. Also, these portfolios are going to be used for you to get employment in the future. This evidence and how you're addressing the focus areas is so important, both for registration and employment. So you want to make it look fantastic. You want to have a variety of things. This semester we're putting it into Word, And I know I've read the discussion boards, and I know some people are doubting that Word is a great way to do it. Word is actually fantastic. There are a few reasons, and I'll point those out now. And I'm going to put up a Padlet of examples that we got from last semester of people of different ways of setting it up in Word. But what is great about Word is, one, it's transferable to absolutely any other platform. So that means once we've got it in your Word document, if you decide you want a website, you can put it on a website. If you decide that you just want to have a PowerPoint that you send out to people, you can put it on that. If you want to have a Prezi, you can stick it on a Prezi. Whatever you want. If you've got it in Word, you've got a fantastic little template, basically, of your work that can be converted into anything. So it is really good like that. Also, because within Word, you can put all your links to your Google Docs. So we had some people using Padlet, some people using Google Docs for storing evidence. So that, because if we had it all in Word, there's an upload limit, and you can't put all the evidence in. And if you do it this way, when you get to your final placement, if you wanted to change the evidence or add evidence, all you'd have to do is put in more Google Doc links or more Padlet links or more things on your Padlet, which was linked in as your evidence. So it works really well, but I will put that up so you can see the samples of it, and hopefully you'll decide you agree with me. All right. And finally, you should have all had a go at looking at the goals now. I know some people have only just joined the unit. Welcome. And I'll be checking through the goals all next week, so I've still got to catch up on some of them, and the introductions all next week, because I've still got to catch up on some of those as well. So feel free to keep adding goals, or if you look at what you wrote, you thought, oh, I just looked at somebody else's and now I really want to change mine. Update it. I don't mind. Have a look. Think about how you can keep working on it. It's going to help you in your assignment, and it's going to help you when you meet your mentor teacher, which I'm really looking forward to hearing about. I'll get that thread up there tonight. Okay. Anyway, congratulations on a successful first week. I hope you are all feeling happy with what's going on, and like your placement might be successful. And I will see you next week. Oh, no, I'll see you on Thursday. See you later.